So it's been a while. I haven't made a video in a long time, and to be honest, the entire reason why I haven't made a video is pretty much because my camera ran out of battery and I've been just that lazy to not put batteries back in. But I have batteries now. I'll hope to be a little bit more active, and we'll get right into the purpose of this video, which is an explanation of the Hoya method. This method is something I've recently switched to on 4x4, and I may switch to on 5x5 if I practice it enough. And I switched from Yao to Hoya on 4x4, and if I switch on 5x5, I've been using reduction on 5x5. And so the basic idea is similar to Yao. It gets the cross edges solved and put in the right place and everything before edge pairing is done, and so that at the end of edge pairing you basically have a cross skip. It's just done a little bit differently. And so I'll be showing you how it works. The reason I'm doing this isn't because I think I'm really that great at Hoya, it's because the only ones I found on YouTube are in Korean or Spanish. And so if you don't know either of those languages, it may not be as easy for you to pick up as I did. I don't actually know Korean. I know a little bit of Spanish, but I was familiar with the method, and so I just looked where things were going and I understood. But it may not be that easy for some people, because some people may not understand the method. And so that's what I'm going to be going over. And so the first thing you look for, at least with me, is two adjacent centers. And usually I start with green or blue, and I'll explain that in a bit, but I see green here and a green bar already paired, so I'll do that and put it in, and then I see the blue here and the blue over here, pair that up, and put it in. Now, you do a turn into the next four, and I always do white first, because white is my cross color, and I'll get to that in a second. And so, I see the white, the white, the white, and the white, and so I put that in. Those get paired up, and that. And now, by knowing my color scheme, I know that here is supposed to be orange, not red. And so I'll pair up the orange, and I'll put it in. And now you leave these two centers unsolved. You have your cross color on bottom, and you have the unsolved centers on F and U. Now the objective here is to get the cross colors. And now, as I look back here, I see that I actually already have red in, and I have the blue here and the blue here. And so what I would do right now is I would do an R2 to get this blue out of the way, and then I would do an F, a D prime, and an F prime, just so that the blue and the red are corresponding to each other in regards to their color scheme. In regards to the color scheme. And so how you would get this in here is, well, since these are unsolved, you can use the little r and the little u and the u layers however you may please and not disturb anything. And so you just put it in. Now as I was doing that, I noticed that the orange-white is already here, and so that's in its right space. So I do a D to get it in the right place, and I look around and I see, okay, here's the other white-orange piece. So you take it out of its place, and again, since these two are unsolved, you can just kind of do whatever you want with the little L, little R, and little U layers. And so you bring it out of the way and put it in. And then the last one. So you see the white-greens here, so the way I'd do it, I'd put it down there. And then I have the white-green over here. And now since the white is on top, you can't just put it in, because it won't work. And so what you have to do is, usually I put it here, a little r, a U2, and a little r prime. We'll turn it into that, and then you can put it in like that. And so then I usually just flip over to my cross so that the cross is lined up, and then you solve the last center. And you do that or the last two centers. And so you do that by flipping this out of the way, and sometimes you'll have to flip this down as well so that you can have full maneuverability of the F layer. But in this case, you can just do it like this. And so the centers are solved and everything is in its spot, and then you do that. And so now at this point, it's just edge pairing. And so you do a slice, you look for, okay, so I have the yellow, red, yellow, blue, it's already in the spot, red, green. I use 3-2-3 edge pairing, and it's done. And so that's what Hoya method is. And there you have that cross skip, so as soon as you're done with F2L, you can go straight into the 3x3 stage. I just put that in the wrong spot. But you get the idea. So I'll do one more for you. And I very, very recently started using this method. I picked it up on 5x5 first, and then I started doing a little bit 4x4. I did a couple 4x4 solves with it 2 days ago, and I practiced for a total around the day of about 3 hours yesterday on 4x4, and I beat my overall personal best single with Yao with Hoya, and so this shows a lot of promise for me. In case you're wondering, that single that I now have is 43.77. I never really used to get into 4x4 much, and so hopefully this will help. But anyway, so I see all the blues right here first, so I would go to blue first, pair up the blues, and then I do the green. And then again, the cross color is what I do first, so white, pair that up, and I have blue here, and since I know my color scheme, I know red is supposed to go there, and you do that. And so now you have everything. I see the first two pairs I immediately see are the blues right here. And so instead of doing that and bringing it up like that, where it would be white on top, I would do an R prime, an F, and an R, and then do that so that this is on bottom still, and this is now the easier way than having to do the long way around with the white on top like I showed you. And so I would put that in. I have red next, and so I see the two reds here. And so I would put this one down like that, bring it over, and then bring this one out, put it in. Next is green, so I see the green here. R, bring it over, bring it down, green's up here, put it in, and then orange is already down here, and you see the white is on top, so you have to do the long way around like I showed you. An F to solve the centers, and then put it down, and then edge pairing. So for those of you who may be wondering, this is an unmodded Shengshao 5x5 or Shengshao 4x4 version 5. If you guys want me to do a 5x5 Hoya walkthrough kind of tutorial like this one is, just tell me and I'll do it. But currently I'm more familiar with doing it with 4x4. So tell me what you think. If you think this method shows promise for you as well, then by all means try it. I was a little bit skeptical at first, but I'm so glad I switched.